Yep, Independence is a vibe. I'm Travis.
And I'm Chris.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video.
And don't forget to catch us on Instagram and on YouTube at Independence is a Vibe, because you know that it is.
Sir.
And so, as always, y'all know we got some type of topic for you. And today's topic is how to stay motivated when life feels stagnant.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it is. And I feel like, me in particular, man, I feel like this is a big subject. And the reason why I feel like that is because no matter how successful you are, no matter how hard you work, no matter if you kind of chilling in life or you kind of, you're a mover and a shaker, you still be having moments where life just feel like it's not moving, it's not doing anything.
Man, even though you are winning, but it just feel like, dang, it's like
Stuff slowed down or something.
It's like the same routine every day,
Right, you know what I'm saying? I would say, if your life feel like it's not really doing what you wanted to do at some point, right? Then I would ask myself a couple of questions. Maybe that's God's way of telling me, like, I need to take a break. Maybe I'm doing too much. Or it could be that I'm not doing enough. Like you said, routine, you might need to switch it up.
Work harder.
That too.
Yeah.
Depending on what your goals are.
Yeah.
Because life, if you don't have any goals, life can get stagnant. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you got the same routine every day, but you don't really have no goals. You don't have no checklist, nothing that you are motivated to do. You know what I'm saying? When it's like that, it's going to be stagnant.
Yeah.
But I think as far as this topic here, I think it's talking to people that you already got things in place. You already doing things. And you just hit a wall, or you hit a spot where you just, you stagnant. Maybe your energy not the same.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Then I say, yeah, it could be your routine.
I like to think about, the why.
Yeah.
Like, what am I, what's my purpose? Like, am I working towards that? Am I putting enough time in? Am I putting enough effort into it?
Right. That's just like we was talking off camera, about the little course that you told me about. And I'm doing it, which is self-paced, and I'm learning about AI. And it's like, I got to a point where, like, I ain't feel like doing it no more, but I just started. At the same time, because I want to have my own business, and I'm like you said, a why. Why am I taking this course if I want to have my own business? Because this don't prepare me for business.
Yeah.
But at the same time, me and you was talking about having stuff to fall back on.
Right.
And that's my reason for doing it. Is like, I can always pursue having my own business. But I need to do this too, just to have something to put on my resume.
Yeah, or be doing something else, or like, to fund your business.
That too. That too. Because you definitely need multiple streams of income, and that's so true.
Yeah.
Especially in this economy. So yeah. Discovering your why, the reason for doing something is very important.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you set goals and you're moving toward those goals, and then one day you just kind of fizzle out. Like I say, man, maybe you need a break or change your routine. You know what I'm saying?
You need to pivot, like how you said, right?
Exactly. Coach Carter in the building.
If you feel like it ain't going how you planned, just pivot, do it a different way. Like, okay, this ain't work, so I'm gonna do it. Let me try this.
Right, because obviously if you're doing something that's causing you to work toward a goal, you had a vision for being in a certain place at a certain time. You had a vision of wanting to see yourself accomplish this certain thing, even if it take years. It starts with you, seeing yourself doing a certain thing. You know what I'm saying?
What the Bible say, you knock and the door shall open.
Right.
I'm just paraphrasing. I don't know the truth.
You own it. You know what I'm saying? You own it. You seek, you find, you ask, you receive. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, man, if life has gotten stagnant for you, right? First, talk to yourself. You set the goal, so see what's going on with you. You know what I'm saying? Number two, talk to God. He made you, he know you, so he gonna know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying?
calling God number one.
Well, yeah, that too. That too. You know, but sometimes you'll be surprised, like you feel yourself just stopping yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, why am I stopping? This is something I wanted to do. Why am I stopping?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Which also that could be God telling you this. This is as far as you go,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe this ain't for you like you thought it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely check with God. I think also like when you living, stuff can get real mundane.
Yeah.
You know, same routines, hanging around the same people, not seeing your life change day after day, week after week, month after month.
Mm-hmm.
It could get real mundane. So, you know, look at your to-do list. And you don't have to write stuff down on paper unless you want to. Because I got a kind of like a mental checklist every day of stuff that I do, like every day. And make sure I do this, make sure I did that. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes it's good to take see a different scenery,
Yeah.
If you can take a vacation, do that. If not, then, take a walk.
Yeah.
You
Switching stuff up like that, like you said, taking a vacation, switching scenery, even taking a walk.
Yeah.
It does things to your body and your mind chemically.
Yeah.
That causes you to relax. And that's how you're able to think or snap yourself out of dark places, stuff like that.
See, for me, I like to go sip out some water,
Mm-hmm.
That right there helps me out a lot.
I know a lot of people that do that too. They say looking at the water, listening to it flow, it's real calming, real relaxing,
Yeah, like going to the beach, you just hit the water, it's like you just get lost.
So I know we went on vacation to the beach. I almost fell asleep out there.
Yeah, it's like healing power, man. It's like I feel like I'm next to God when I'm at the beach,
I feel that.
I don't know, something about that ocean, man. It do it to me.
Yeah, it's got some kind of magnetic pull, huh, Trey?
Yeah, it does.
But I think, man, life is gonna have times where it just gets stagnant. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's not always gonna be flowing the way you want it to flow. It's not always gonna be fun and exciting. But when you get to them points where you feel like this just like I done slowed down, or I'm sluggish, or something ain't going the way I want it to go. Man, I check on me and then I talk to God.
My mom always tell me, when you feel like life ain't, like you said, stagnant or whatever, it's not moving how you want to. Sometimes, she say, sometimes the teacher is quiet during the test.
Ooh, I like that.
So that means, even though you feel like you're trying to figure it out, God already working it out, man.
Yeah. And see, that's another thing too, man. I think we got to recognize when God is carrying us versus we walking next to him, because that's two different things.
Mm-hmm.
You can be walking with somebody and they holding your hand, but it feel completely different when they pick you up and they walk with, carry you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you recognize that, that helps you too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to pay attention to stuff, pay attention to how you feel, but also pay attention to stuff around you.
Yeah.
The people around you, what are they saying?
Yeah.
Because sometimes people can see things with you that you might not see, in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You ever had somebody tell you, man, you just don't seem like you today.
Yeah.
You all right? You good? Like, why you asking me that? You know what I'm saying? Like, because you just don't seem like you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
They used to you acting a certain way, and then you ain't acting that way no more. They're like, oh, something must be off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know when I'm deep in thought, I'm quiet. But if I go around my parents and I'm real quiet, they like, Chris, you okay?
Yeah.
My wife like that too. Like, if we riding and I'm just super quiet, she like, man, did I do something? Are you all right? Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I was just thinking. She like, well, what you thinking about? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it's good to have people like that in your life that'll check on your mental state. You know what I'm saying? Are you where you need to be?
Yeah.
Don't check out on me.
Right.
But yeah, man, you need people that when your life kind of it's not taking a dip or a turn, it's not flowing like normal.
It's not, you're not down, you're not up, you're just like in the middle.
Yeah, I'm stuck where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm just here.
Yeah.
But this ain't where I want to be. I want to be moving. The question is, why did you stop moving? Because you was moving.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you stop? Something stopped you. The question is, Did it stop you for good or stop you because of something bad?
Yeah, I think we get stuck on this invisible glass ceiling that's not really there. You know, like that experiment we saw on online where they put the flies in the jar.
Yeah, and then they take the lid off.
And they put the lid on it, and you know the flies fly as high as the lid.
Mm-hmm.
Then they take the lid off.
Yeah.
And they still just.
Same thing with the elephants.
Yeah.
They'll tie a baby elephant leg to a stake in the ground, and when it's a baby, it's not strong enough to pull it out.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's a full-grown elephant, it just won't do anything. It just stand there because it's so used to. I was pulling and pulling and pulling, and then, I wasn't getting nowhere. So I know if I pull this time, I'm not gonna get anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
When in actuality, if you pull this time, you gonna get free.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
That right there teaches me a lesson of just don't give up, don't stop.
Right.
Also, something else I look at too, like we've said before, look for inspiration. And social media, even though science has proven that people get depressed looking at social media because they feel like, man, my life ain't like this person.
It's all smoke and mirrors, man.
Yeah, you only seen a snippet of their life. They ain't giving you everything.
Right.
They only gonna take the shots when they win it and put them up. You know what I'm saying? So, but I look at social media and say, oh, this person doing what I wanted to do. How did they get started? How did they, get past this step in the process? Like, that's what I look at social media for.
Yeah, I look at social media for networking. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reaching out like, hey, I see you doing X, Y, Z. Hey, can you give me,
some tips
pointers, or can you, point me to somebody else that that's doing that too.
Mm-hmm.
That can help me out.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? My mindset this year is, I'm like, God, point me to the people that you have that's supposed to sharpen me, but then show me the tools that I'm supposed to work with. You see what I'm saying? Whether those tools are websites online or my tool is my mouth. God, like, I just want you to marinate in my presence, so when I need you to open that mouth, you be good and ready. See what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, I hear you. My routine is pretty much the same every day because I don't work anymore. I work on stuff, but it's not like having a boss. See what I'm saying? So my routine is pretty much the same 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week. Yeah. And it can get pretty stagnant, it can get mundane. And sometimes it'll get next to me a little bit. Because I'm like, man, I'm just in the house chilling, but everybody else around me, they working on stuff. They going to school, they working jobs, they making moves. And I'm like, what am I doing? Just in the house, just, But that's why I said earlier about the vision that you have, or the vision that God gave you. Because see, when I got on disability, I was happy at first. Because I knew I wasn't going to have to get up and go to a job every morning. Because it has some wear and tear on you when you've done it for so long. You know what I'm saying? So I was happy about that. But then as I'm sitting there, I'm like, but all my friends, everybody I know, they working. They doing something. You know what I'm saying? And I sat there and I was talking to God, and I just saw myself like, but you could be the next internet millionaire. You're in the house, but that don't mean you have to stop working.
No.
So where do you want to be in the next 5 to 10 years? And I'm like, but Lord, it's 2019. Like, and he said, okay, so where you want to be? If you live the next 10 years, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I see. You know what I'm saying? I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be a businessman. He said, okay, well, businessman, get to work.
That's it.
Taking this inventory of your skills. What skills you got? What passions you have. What desires you have. And start doing your research and get to work. So, that helped my routine to not get so mundane, because even though I'm doing the same stuff every day, I'm learning something new every day too.
Yeah.
And when I learn something new, I get excited, which releases endorphins and causes me to relax instead of being stressed out.
Yeah.
So yeah. Sometimes you gotta push you, and sometimes you gotta learn when to chill. Yeah. Sometimes you gotta turn off all the noise and let God talk to you. So it's a learning process.
Yeah, man. I just think about the vision and also that why. And that's it. That's what keeps me motivated.
Oh yeah. I learned a long time ago too that money is a good motivator, but money won't keep you. It won't. If you like, man, yeah, I'm gonna get into this because, I'm passionate about this and that. Are you passionate about what you're doing, or is the money catching your eye? You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes stuff will change up, and you want to make that money, but you're tired of doing what you're doing, and that makes a difference.
Yeah.
But yeah. In life, you gotta have goals. That's how God made us. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have some type of goal, even if it's just one. I'm gonna take my whole life, and my only goal is to do X, Y, Z.
What the Bible said about a man that don't have a plan?
Mm-hmm. Without a vision, my people perish, or something like that.
Something about
Mm-hmm.
something close to that.
I think it was lack of knowledge, but we can put vision right there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you gotta understand that we always put on this earth to do something.
Yeah, we all got a purpose.
Right. Even if what you do may not seem all that big to you, it might be big to the next person.
Yeah, you never know who watching you. Even though you might feel like, oh, I ain't really doing that. Somebody watching you like, damn, I wish I had his life.
For real. So, but when you out there discovering whatever your God-given purpose is, the whole point of this topic today, man, sometimes you're going to hit them lows. You're going to hit them points where you hit a rough spot and everything just stops. You know what I'm saying? But when everything stops, what do you do in that moment? That's what this is about.
Mm-hmm.
When life gets stagnant, when everything is just so routine and so mundane, it's like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Well, we pretty much laid it out.
Stay focused, man.
Yeah.
Keep moving.
Whatever you got to do to get your focus back. You know what I'm saying? You do that. If it's, taking a break from the job you have. See what I'm saying? Take that break. Collect your thoughts or whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
If you got to cancel engagements or not go and do things so you can go get in God's face, do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if you got to switch up your routine, then switch it up.
Yeah.
Like Travis said, which was a good tip. Change your surroundings, like, your scenery.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people get exposure to other things when they get out of the environment that they always in.
Mm-hmm.
When you can do that, you will learn. You'll learn about yourself. You'll learn about God. You'll learn about money. You know what I'm saying?
It's always good to see new things and learn.
Oh, yeah.
New cultures or whatever,
Oh, yeah. Most definitely. Man, that made me think about one of my favorite movies. This movie called Freedom Writers. I don't know if you ever heard of it or seen it.
I heard
it. When that teacher took a bunch of kids from the so-called hood, and she was showing them, different parts of different cities and different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
The kids was like, man, I didn't never know all of that was possible for somebody like me.
Yeah,
because you ain't had no exposure. You can't say you want to be something if you don't know what's out there.
Right.
So, yeah.
Getting exposed to things, makes your mind wonder, I guess. Go to work.
That's what make your mind expand.
Yeah.
Because you'll get excited about seeing something new.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you see it, you like, you know what? I want to try that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you try it and see that you can do it. You're like, oh yeah, I want to do this right here.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do this. And it's like, well, what if you can't? Ain't no such thing as can't because I ain't tried enough yet.
I feel like a lot of businesses started from people going to like different states or countries or whatever. They saw something like, oh, I could bring that back here and put like a little twist to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Most definitely. And that's the thing is like exposure is everything.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. But also too, like knowing yourself so that you know when you're going through something that ain't normal for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That way you can kind of catch yourself like, okay, I'm a little off today. I just don't feel like me today.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when you kind of start checking on things.
Yeah.
Maybe you done hit a little rough spot mentally and you ain't even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you burnt out.
Right.
See what I'm saying? And being burnt out is not bad. That's an indicator that you might be working a little too hard, and I say that's a good indicator to have. Because that means you're doing something you're supposed to do, you're just going a little too hard.
Yeah.
So, get you some rest and get back at it.
Taking a break ain't a bad thing.
Right, because taking a break is not quitting.
Yeah.
quitting and pausing is two different things.
Mm-hmm.
You need them pauses. That's
Yeah.
why jobs have break rooms. Because you're supposed to take a break.
Right.
You know? Eat something.
Mm-hmm.
Get some sleep if you got to.
Yup.
But yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think we dropped some good points, you know, or, you know,
Yes,
things
sir.
we can been through.
Oh, yeah.
And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video.
Yeah, and don't forget to catch us on Instagram and on YouTube at Independence is a Vibe, because you know that it is.
Yes, sir.
And we'll be back next week with another video.
Stay tuned.
And we out.
Peace. You got the remote.